Vaibhav, let me come back to you now. And you know, the court will, of course, take this matter to its logical conclusion. But the question that I want to ask you is, and this we've seen happen even during the course of the Aadhaar hearings, the government has set up a committee headed by Justice Sri Krishna. The Sri Krishna committee report was expected at the end of the month. We don't know whether it will come through by the end of the month or not. And that is to basically put in place a legislation for data privacy and data protection. Now, in light of the fact that we do not have that mechanism in place today, why is it that the government chooses to press ahead with something like this?
No, but this, Shireen, the idea here is that Aadhaar is dealt by a different ministry altogether, and this is being dealt by and under a different ministry altogether. BECIL is a PSU, a public sector unit, which is under one of the ministries in the centre government.
I understand what it is. My question is very different. My question is very different. My question is not to do with Aadhaar. My question is to do with the fact that we do not currently, we do not currently have a data protection or a data privacy legislation. That is what has been given to the Sri Krishna committee to put forward. We are still awaiting the recommendations of the Sri Krishna committee. And hence my question to you, before we put that legislation in place, before we put the checks and balances in place, why is the government pressing ahead with this?
Sure. Well, there are some things which are in play automatically. If you see, BECIL has been trying to do something with creating a social media hub since the 2015. This is not new. So 2015 there was something that came in, 2016 there was something that came in, and then finally this 2017 document came in. So, and then 2018 document came in. So this was in the making for a very long time, and perhaps this was just this was just on the movement of the files or how the government system works, which I and you won't have control on. But what we can say is, as far as my understanding of the entire issue is, before the judgment comes in or before the hearing happens on August 3rd, is that, why I call this a state of paranoia is because
just one second, sir. Just one second, sir. Let's move away from being a state of paranoia, etc. Let me ask you this question as a common citizen, as a layperson, without the legalese. Forget that this is an RFP, forget the tender bidding process. You and I have no control over it. I'm asking you simply, sir, do you agree with the fact that the government should have the control to listen to your digital chatter? Do you believe that the government should have control of monitoring what you and me are doing on our social media accounts? Do you believe that the government should have the ability to look into our WhatsApps and our emails? I'm asking you this question simply, sir, as a citizen. Forget the RFP.
I absolutely respect to what you're saying, and I will reply to you back. The government as well as the citizen, no, the government should not have the control on it. However, with reasonable restrictions, if the judiciary or the legal action demands for it, then yes, the government should have the right to access it for the larger good of the nation and the people. Now, I as a citizen would definitely want guidelines to be floated by the government and be told to me, explicitly as to if they are accessing my information, under what pretext and to what an extent are they accessing my information, and what is the purpose and the intent of that access. Absolutely to be put in the public discourse, and it doesn't matter. Yes, I'm a citizen first, my party comes second, and myself comes third. So as a citizen, I say my country should not be a surveillance state. India has always upheld the independence and right to freedom of expression. And my colleague from Congress knows about it. Then I can get apolitical on this. No, the government should not have access to it, but with reasonable restrictions. If that is with what we can see it with maturity, of course, something like this will only be used beneficially as long as there are guidelines when the project gets implemented. And I think, and I'm very blatant in what I'm saying.
All right, I'll give wrap-up comments. Mohammed, I'll start by asking you, privacy with reasonable restrictions, the checks and balances should be in place. What the court decides to do, we still have to wait for that. Quick wrap-up comment from you.
Yes, I was listening closely to both Mahua ji and Vaibhav bhai. I would say this, let me preface what I'm about to say with this. I know Weber Bhai, he's personally a deeply progressive individual who belongs to a party with fascist tendencies, and I do not envy him that he has to defend this position. Do you know, one of the things that escaped debate during this conversation is that in May of 2017, and ET now also reported it, the government of India, specifically the Income Tax Department, Shireenji, launched Project Insight. Do you know what Project Insight was? It was a project where the government could access your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, and they could take pictures of your watch, your fancy vacations, the clothes you buy, and match that up with your income. I have found nothing to be a more egregious, transgression into our privacy. I find that to be extremely vulgar of them to take a step like that. Unfortunately, it didn't make a lot of news back then. Somehow it died out because it was only Income Tax Department. It didn't affect everybody but the very rich. But that itself was the first creeping instance of this practice. Now they want to go the extra mile. I think this is, of course, fascism at its purest, and we will all fight it together. And with channels such as yours, we will remain eternally vigilant, which is the price of liberty, as someone once said.
Okay, Mahua, I'll give you the final comment. Next hearing in this matter is scheduled for when?
It's for August 3rd. The 3rd of August.
August 3rd. And what would your hope be, Mahua? And what would your hope be?
Obviously, look, today the points that you brought up, in light of the Puttaswamy judgment on privacy and in light of the Sri Krishna Committee report not yet been published, we've got a situation where we've got privacy as a fundamental right, and at the same time we haven't got a strong data protection mechanism in place. So with that kind of circumstance, under those circumstances, this in the hands of this government is absolute, cannon fodder. It's really strong ammunition to go after just about anybody. So what we would hope, and given the way we started today, we would hope that with the help of the Supreme Court, that common citizens this doesn't go on, that the government stops this and realizes that even if the opposition and if ordinary citizens have nothing, they have recourse to the law of the land. So we hope that we will stop this, because where the BJP seems to be taking this is the third show I'm on today, and it's almost amusing. One can do nothing but sit back and laugh when you watch these spokespersons go around in circles trying to defend something which is indefensible, and they've been told, try and take the debate away from the main point, try and take it away. So they're all trying to do that. But if you get right down to it, this is about a surveillance state. Read the RFP. It's a 66-page document which is out there. Read it, and it will tell you exactly what it is, and it's something very frightening. Well, I've read it, you've read it, and we both think it's something to be scared about. Whoever would read it would find it something to be scared about. The court agrees with us as of today, and we hope that we will win this. But let's see. The thing is still out.
All right, Mahua Moitra, Vaibhav Agarwal and Mohammed Khan, appreciate you joining us here on the Political Exchange. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this CNBC TV 18 special. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. A lot more is coming up.